Genshin Impact is a pretty decent game. Now, obviously, it does have some controversial moments, but once we dive into the game that's full of characters, interesting mechanics, and stories, it's a pretty enjoyable experience. However, there's one thing that boggles my mind, something that went completely unnoticed since the release of the game. The unknown god loses before the game even starts. Now, whether this unknown god is good or evil, this mistake would essentially cause her own demise. There are many unanswered questions in the story of Genshin Impact, but maybe by going all the way back to the beginning, we can potentially answer some questions regarding the mystery of the game. The unknown god, also known as the sustainer of heavenly principles. As I discussed in my prior videos, we can notice that humans in this world continue to question and challenge the gods. With that said, it's safe to assume that the sustainer's goal is to rule over humans and make sure this world continues on. But if we were to backtrack to the opening minutes of the game, she makes perhaps the biggest blunder that ultimately ruins her. She stops the twins from leaving. This causes some major problems for the sustainer. First, Lumine figures out that this world is screwed up. She empowers the Abyss Order, who wants to overthrow the gods. Second, Aether joins in years later to progress through the story and unintentionally empowers the Tsaritsa, who is also trying to overthrow the gods. To the sustainer, this cause and effect will undoubtedly come bite her in the ass in the future. So what should she have done? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The cataclysm, which was caused by the Abyss Order 500 years ago, essentially ended up as a failure considering everything continued on as if nothing had happened. If Lumine had left in the beginning of the game, she would have never joined the Abyss Order, and regaining power would have been very difficult for the Abyss Order. If Aether had left, he would have never woken up into VOD 500 years later. Due to what transpired after his reawakening, Tsaritsa seizes this opportunity and takes control of the two Gnosis from Venti and Zhongli. Aether essentially aids in Tsaritsa's goal to fight against the divine. By keeping the twins in this world, the sustainer is now faced with multiple factions that appear to have leveled up due to the twins joining in the story. Now I know what you're thinking. If the sustainer had let them leave, that would be a terrible story. Quite frankly, the game wouldn't exist, or the story would have had to be rewritten. But for the sake of the theory, if the sustainer of heavenly principle is a god that controls everything in this world, how could she have made such a silly mistake? In my theory, the mistake of keeping the twins in this world stems from a simple misunderstanding. When the sustainer first showed herself, she claims, "The arrogation of mankind ends now." The sustainer believed that the twins were humans. Considering what was going on at that time regarding the cataclysm and Khaenri'ah, the sustainer was already under immense pressure due to the humans potentially challenging this world. To further this misunderstanding, Lumine questions who she is. To the sustainer, this question means, "Oh, they don't know who I am. They must not be divine beings, so probably human. After all, no human should know my existence. Well, they look human. They probably are." So the sustainer tells the twins exactly who she is, the sustainer of heavenly principles. Now this act of giving her identity away means one thing. The classic case of, "I'm telling you who I am because I'm about to end your life." If the twins were in fact humans, the battle would have been extremely easy for the sustainer. But we know that wasn't the case. Lumine and Aether are still alive. From our gameplay, we know that the twins are not humans. They don't age, and they don't even require visions to use elemental powers. It's probably safe to assume that the twins are godly beings from another world. Now, if the sustainer was an all-knowing omnipotent god, she should have been able to tell immediately that the twins were not human. But from the hints in the game, we can learn that the sustainer isn't as powerful as we first believed. Inside the Traveler's story description, it mentions, "The sustainer is dying. The creator has yet to arrive, but the world won't burn again. because you will ascend to the seat of God. We can notice that this description is written in a very strange manner, almost as if it's a foreshadowing of some sort. Now, from this description, we can take away 3 key points. First, the sustainer is capable of dying. Second, the creator is a different being entirely from the sustainer. And third, the traveler can potentially ascend to the seat of God. From these 3 points, I would argue that the sustainer isn't all that powerful. She's merely a puppet of a higher being, simply there with the task of doing her job. Her job of sustaining this world using the laws of heavenly principles. This would mean that whoever is above her created the world and its laws. The creator. But who is this creator? Going off of Gnosticism, which I explained in this video, I theorize that the creator is the fake God, a complete different being from the sustainer. Now, why did the creator disappear? Honestly, I have no clue. But going back to the sustainer, if she is not as powerful as we originally thought, this could explain the first couple minutes of the game. The sustainer doesn't know everything. She's not an omnipotent being, which causes her misunderstanding. Also, the fact that the twins never explained their goals or who they were creates further confusion. If the sustainer had realized sooner, she could have just let them go to the next world and they would never interfere with her job. But the battle had already begun and they start to fight for survival. Assuming the twins are godly beings from another world, the sustainer quickly figures out that she wasn't strong enough to take them down. The only thing the sustainer could do was to delay the twins by separating them and sealing them away. This effectively starts the ticking time bomb. Obviously, this game isn't even finished, and this is nothing but theories and speculations. And I also understand keeping the twins in this world could be simply explained as a plot trigger created by Mihoyo with no real reason, just to start the game. But since this is a theory video, we cannot completely dismiss alternative possibilities. For example, is it possible that the sustainer kept the twins here for a reason? Considering there are a lot of speculations regarding Paimon being the sustainer, or even the god of time itself, who knows? Maybe the sustainer also got tired of the laws of this world, just like Venti and Zhongli. And maybe she low-key stopped the siblings from leaving so that they can end this world that was manufactured by the creator. Could the end of Genshin Impact signal a new beginning that connects the Mihoyo Universe with the creator being the final boss? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, smash that like, and check out my other videos on this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.